Hi, welcome to our Ed Talks, little snippets of education to help you heal and feel empowered. I'm Justine Calderwood, pelvic floor physical therapist and birth recovery specialist. I often get asked from women, they reach out and say, you know what, I tried an online program. I know there's several out there, so I won't name them by names, but I've tried a program online to address getting back into exercise and feeling better after having my baby. I'm doing all the Kegels, I'm doing all the things that they say, and they're worried. They say, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know if I'm not doing it enough, but I've really given it a good shot and it doesn't seem to be helping me. They tell me they're still struggling with things like leaking or even other changes of the bladder and bowel, maybe pelvic pressure, or even just general weakness. And so they want to know, what am I doing wrong? And I tell them, you know what, there's a lot of great online programs out there, okay? However, a lot of them, what they're missing is that they're not assessing what's going on. So they're very general and they can help people, okay, but not everybody, because they're not as specific as what you might need. So there's a lot of moving pieces in our body, particularly during pregnancy and postpartum. So we want to first start with an assessment, like what's actually going on, what's causing this feeling of weakness, or those signs that changes have happened in your bladder function or your bowel function, for instance, or you are feeling that pressure, possibly a sign of, say, prolapse, or you're worried about diastasis. Those are very real issues that happen during the postpartum phase. There's this assumption that I have found that I think a lot of people think they're weak because we are told by society, maybe even by your provider, you might have been told, well, you just need to do Kegels, it just means that you're weak. And that's not always the case. So if it's not weakness, what could it be? Well, for one, it could be changes in your posture or your alignment of your pelvis, your hips, and even into the rib cage. So think about when you are pregnant, how this all gets stretched out to make room for baby. We get a lot of tightness in the back, for instance. We get shifting that goes down into the pelvis. That's what's not addressed in these online programs. Now, they're well-meaning and they have a lot of great information in them. They just aren't as comprehensive as you need. Another issue that might be going on is tightness. So what if your pelvic floor is too tight? It's overactive. It's trying to work too hard, and those muscles are actually getting tight instead of being weak. Now, tightness can lead to weakness, but trying to strengthen those muscles is not the answer. So when we have tightness, that might happen into the low back, into the pelvis, the hips, or even into the pelvic floor underneath. So that needs to be addressed. But first we need to know, is that truly what's going on? Another issue that could be going on is just coordination. Maybe you are doing things correctly and you're doing the best that you can. However, what if your diaphragm is not working as well with your pelvic floor area or even the abdominals? There's this misconception that the core is only the abdominals. That's just the most obvious thing that people focus in on, but it's not the only part of your core. We have the diaphragm and the rib cage that has to work properly. We have the pelvic floor underneath. That's part of our core. So it could be a coordination issue. So again, without looking at this, we don't know. So what's the plan? First, like I said, we have to find out what's going on. You need an assessment. So a lot of these online programs, they're done at your own pace. They're pre-recorded. You purchase them and you go through it as you can at home. Well, you don't have the guidance. You don't have anybody to, bounce ideas off of, to ask questions, to find out, well, is this true for me? Is this what's going on with my body? And that's the answers that we need to come up with a plan. So first we assess, then we make a plan based on what we found. So what does that look like? Well, just to give you an idea, if we are finding, say, changes in your posture or alignment, we address that. That can be done with exercise, but it's got to be done with targeted exercise that's appropriate for your body, because not everybody has the same issue going on. Let's say it is tightness. Again, exercise can be really beneficial, doing some stretches, for instance, or possibly even into other areas besides your pelvic floor or the abdominal area. Again, we got to look at the back, we got to look at the hips, we got to look at you as a whole person. You have more than just your pelvic floor and your core. What if it is a coordination issue? Well, again, we need to figure that out so we can work on that and get that coordination of the whole core all the way around working properly. So the best answer really is to get more of a customized plan going for you. That's where you're going to be successful. So working with somebody that can look at those areas, help you make sense of what's going on in your body and what can be done for you is the best plan, in my opinion. So if you've tried those online programs and you're feeling frustrated with, like a lot of my clients have in the past, get some guidance. I'd be happy to meet with you and do a consultation call. We can either do that on the phone or via video. I'm going to leave the link below here. I'm happy to be that guide for you. Thank you.